Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today we're talking Inventing Anna, Season 1, Episode 2, The Devil Wore Anna. You guys, I want to like this show. I am all about fraud shows. I think it's really cool, and I've been obsessed with this story. So you could say I'm built to like this show, right? But it's very weird. I am really kind of struggling with this one, and I want your comments below. We're going to get into it all. But first I have to say, hello everybody. I'm Anna. I'm so distracted by the accent. I can't focus. It's hard. You guys help. Okay, first, before we get into all this, let me just put in a plug for my Patreon. It's fabulous. We're having so much fun over there, going back over the original series of Sex and the City. We got a fun tier coming out. We've been doing Carrie Diaries, but I am making the switch up. We're going to start doing some Always Sunny. We have a tier where you can actually pick what we watch. All kinds of fun stuff, so you check that out. It's awesome. Let's get into Inventing Anna. I took a million pictures, and I'm fully prepared to go scene by scene and talk about it, but I just want to give you my general thoughts. You know, as this is the second episode and I can think a little bit more clearly, I guess. My pros with this is it's an interesting story. I am interested in this new Val character that we just met in this one. I'm interested in Chase. I want to see where this is going. My cons are every freaking episode is seriously like an hour and a half long. There's the timeline, especially in this one, is just all over the place. I understand that they need to flash back to make the stories more interesting, but it's a story within a story within a story, and even then, they're probably going to feed you parts not in order. And it just makes it all so much. It's like watching the most intense movie over and over, but I mean, different movie. I don't know how to explain it. It's like every time you sit down for an episode, you're watching Wolf of Wall Street, right? I mean, it's just a lot going on, and they're very long. Not to mention, I am distracted by her accent. I understand she is meant to be Russian, but also German. Oh, God, you guys, I'm so sorry. I can't help it. Yeah, that accent. I understand where they're going with it, and I know the story where she was born, in Russia and then moved to Germany young. I get it. So she's going to have a weird accent. But I can't take that every word is spoken like this. It crosses into... All I can hear is like that, Buffalo Bill. It puts the lotion on the skin. It's so much. It's like, the show is already cringe and it's making it way more cringe. Okay, here's my other beef with this show. Vivian. I didn't mind the character Vivian. I will say I had so many comments saying that you couldn't with Vivian, and now this episode I saw it so much more clearly. I'm kind of in the same boat. It's her over-the-top expressions over everything, her over-the-top obsession with the story. It's a lot, right? It's a lot to take in. I'm struggling a little bit with Vivian. Now, I did like that she was less in this episode, and I'm still, again, I love the show Workaholics. Let me know if you watch it. It's hilarious. I know it's been off the air for a while, but very funny show, and the guy that plays her husband in this is from Workaholics, so you're going to hear me call him Durs. I don't even know if they said his real name in this show. I only know him as Durs from Workaholics. So I had a shocking discovery here. I kept thinking this guy looks so familiar to me, so I had to look him up. And he played Thatcher Gray on Grey's Anatomy. So again, a lot of the Shonda Rhimes people crossing over. Of course, we had Ellis Gray in this show as well, and now we have Thatcher Gray. I want to talk about this show. I want to talk about the story. It's just so much going on. Literally, my notes are pages and pages of this stuff, and I'm still scratching my head. Again, I'm distracted by her over-the-top facial expressions. This is kind of me watching the show. There's times where I'm smiling, and then there's times where I'm like, what the hell am I watching, right? I mean, I really want to know your thoughts. I noticed it's getting a so-so review on IMDb, but I also noticed it's trending #1 on Netflix. Are you into this show? Are you keeping up with it? Are you finding it exhausting to watch every episode? I was bored in the first one. I don't know if confused is the word. I was overwhelmed in this one, maybe. There's just so many people that I don't know or care about, or they haven't made me care about yet, and just so much storyline going on. So many people trying to figure out, I mean, I know where they were going with this, right? I feel like even with these characters, which we really don't know anything about, but they're characters that were conned by Anna, and some of them have handled it like the brunette, where she's like, no, she's full of shit. Or the lady in the purple coat that works at the hotel that's like, no, she's rich. So she's conned so many people, and it's a testament to how good she is at doing that sort of thing. And I guess that's where the true story part of it comes in, is she conned so many people that should have known better, So I find that part fascinating, but I find all these details over the top. It's dragging me down. I think I'm struggling too because I really don't care about Vivian. I find her obsessive and hard to relate to, you know what I mean? So it's a weird point of view to tell it from her angle. And I guess I understand that too, because if you tell it from Anna's angle, well, we wouldn't know what's the truth and what's not. But truthfully, now that I'm saying it out loud, we don't know what's true and what's not right now. There's just so much information thrown at us. Like right now, we're going to this lady's house who's clearly so rich. She owns this Hamptons mansion. It's insane. Her name is Talia. And she's there for an interview to know all about. And then we lead into story after story after story about Anna. And it's a lot. I feel like these episodes are too long and too in-depth. I don't know where they're trying to go with this, except for I feel like they're trying to maybe confuse us on purpose, or maybe throw too much information at us on purpose so we don't know, is Anna a con woman, or is she really a socialite, or what's going on? Although I think she's a con woman. We found that. But again, I don't know where the writers of the show are going with this. It's a lot of information. So here's Talia. I did find her part interesting, where she is so rich. She has this boat, and she befriended Anna because Anna was kind of a bitch to her at this gallery, and it was interesting. So that's the part that I really enjoy, seeing Anna play these psychological games with people, where she can convince them to do things. Like she convinces this lady to, she already had her art picked out, but she convinces her to blow a fortune on this photograph just because it's like a game to Anna to see if she can get her to do it, right? But she's kind of a bitch about it, but it works. Talia, she does it. She buys this expensive photograph because Anna kind of talked her into it. It's very strange dynamic of power and influence, and I'm sure it's to show us what Anna's capable of, but it was a lot of side story, and I'm not really sure why. It almost defeated the reporter's addiction or something. It's very strange. I had the same feeling with Talia, that she looked very familiar to me. To me, she looked like, what's her name? Helena Peabody from the L Word. If you know, you know. But, no, she played Dr. Minnick on Grey's Anatomy. So lots of Grey's Anatomy crossovers here. So I'm going to talk through this part too, because it's all about the art and convincing her to spend over $500,000 on an 8x10 of this photographer. Okay. The other thing that I talked through earlier that I found interesting is the guy Val. I really want to see where they're going with that, and I hope he's in more episodes. I have not looked ahead. I haven't watched anything. I don't know. But he's got an interesting storyline where he apparently helps out, Nora. It sounds like he's a helper for Nora and helps style her. In exchange, he gets to live at her house sometimes. I really want to know what that dynamic's about. But, yeah, so Anna and her boyfriend, Chase, I don't know why I want to call him Alex, but I do. Chase and Anna come up with this plan to pretend like they're in Ibiza so they can meet up with Talia and her boyfriend, friend, whoever he is, the guy with the yacht. So it's all a big game. Anna's conning everybody. This Chase guy he's got money, but it sounds like he's all about finding investors in his weird dream company that I don't quite understand. So everybody seems to be conning everybody. He comes up with this idea, hey, pretend like we're in Ibiza, and then contact Talia and see if we can meet up with them so that way he can hit up her rich boyfriend or whoever he is for money. It works. They get invited on the yacht. We got the yacht. If you watch Real Housewives of New York, then you know what I'm talking about. But so she gets on there and things are just kind of weird. They kind of get a weird vibe off of her. She and Chase seem really happy, but Chase is hard selling everybody on investing in his company. Again, I feel like this is a weird timeline thing. We're going back in the past. And, I mean, it's meant just to show us what a good salesman she is. It's basically because of her that this guy invests $100,000 into Chase's company. Meanwhile, back in the present, stuff going on between the attorneys, looking for discovery. They only got one box. He asked for more, so it ends up being a truckload. To that I say, who cares? Why do we need the minutia of what's going on in the office? I just felt a little lost by that. They spent a lot of time on that. The timeline, again, we're in the present. Now we're back in the past. Here we go. Okay, back in the past. On this yacht. Just hanging out like they belong there, right? So it's understood that they'll just stay on the yacht, and I know they go into that later, and that's interesting as hell, but I'm just saying, like, even now, they took that boat out to the yacht, so I thought the idea was they'd have dinner and then leave, but I guess they were invited to be guests, so they took that very literally and stayed on the yacht. I don't know, the whole thing is fascinating. So again, you can tell she doesn't want to make small talk with the women. Instead, she's listening to what's happening with Chase and that he's being turned down for investment, so she feels like she needs to step in. And I know why they showed it to us is to show the powers that Anna has, how she can persuade people and talk people into things. Clearly, even the real one has a gift because she conned a lot of people out of a lot of things. Good for her, but, well, not good for her, but you know what I mean? Like, good for her for having those abilities. Too bad she didn't use them for something good, not this. So, the whole thing's interesting, but again, this timeline was just psychotic. It was a load of pants. I had trouble a lot with the notes and with keeping up with where the heck we're going with all this. I am curious to see about the Chase storyline and who's using who, because it appears like they might be using each other. And since I can't think of anything funny to say here, I'll go ahead and say it in her accent. Do you ever dream about death? That's what they're selling this guy. It's so crazy. Like, it's such a flimsy thing that I couldn't even explain it back to you. It has to do with, like, harnessing the power of your dreams. Just one of those, you're just like, what? What? People are investing in that? Okay. But this is where we find out why Talia quit speaking to Anna. So Anna stayed on the boat. Everybody else got off. Remember, this is her boyfriend or whoever's boat. And Anna and Chase stayed on it for days afterwards. And I watched the ship boats on Below Deck, and those are not ship boats, but they're shittier than this one. And they talk about how much it costs to run a staff every day and everything that they have to do. And so that's all I could think of with this, because they stayed on without anybody's permission. They just decided to do it. Well, the main guy got wind of it. He tells Talia, and she's like, get off the boat. I thought that was a fabulous scene. So I would have liked to seen Anna scrambling to get her stuff off the boat. So I will say what's interesting about this part to me was that even after all this being conned, Talia doesn't think that it's Anna's fault. She thinks that it's, Chase. She thinks Chase talked her into it. And so Anna went along with it. Because Anna was raised better, according to Talia, so she should have known that this is not something that was done. I did love this scene where they stayed in the guest room of this mega mansion, and in the guest bathroom, it's just like every beauty potion and elixir and they decide they're just going to use all of it and then go have lots of sex in the bed. I just think that sounds like the perfect vacation, right? I mean, like, fabulous. They said it's like sleeping on kitten fur. Like, they said it's the softest bed they've ever slept in. There's like details like that I really appreciated and enjoyed about this episode. I kind of want to be friends with Talia, although she seems very high maintenance. Okay, so again, we're jumping around. We're back to Val. He talks about how when they got to Paris, the shit really hit the fan. We see them fighting. He is wanting her, look at this view, you guys, I'm dying. He's wanting her to invest in his company, and she says, "You want my money?" And he says, "What money? I pay for everything." So we're seeing cracks there. They say, "Try being less of a psycho," and Chase says to Val, "She's yours, I'm all out." And Val stands up for Anna, is like, you need to go. You need to stop talking to her like this. He's trying to protect her. Well, she ends up staying with Val. Now, this part was real weird because I thought this was Val's hotel room, right, that she woke up in. But later we find out they're trying to get payment from Anna. So maybe, who knows? Again, confusing. I tried. I'm doing my best here. You gotta bear with me. Lots of details. Okay. Chase. I don't know why I call him Alex. Chase calls Val and is like, "Can you look at her passport?" And Val won't do it. He's like, "What are you talking about?" And Chase says, "She's lying to me. I need you to look at her passport." And Val says, "I'm hanging up. Just check it. It'll only take a second. It's not a big deal. Just check." Val's like, "You need to check this yourself and chill the F out." So, again, it's back. It's jumping all around. So Anna is confronted by the hotel staff, like, "You don't pay, you don't stay," that kind of thing. And she's like, "My father hears about this. You're going to be in trouble. My father will be very unhappy." Well, she goes over the options about wiring payment, and that Val's trying to fix this. He says he'll call Nora, and she says, "No, I'm embarrassed." Well, we see, again, cracks in her armor. So she finally kind of feels like she's cornered. She doesn't have a way to pay these people. She sits down, puts her head against the rail. And she says, "Val, I'm sorry. It's my father." I don't know what accent I'm slipping into there, but "I'm sorry, it's my father. I'm so alone. He cuts me off." And Val kind of sees, again, the cracks and that she's upset and that things should just be paid for, and it's just a whole mess. So he ends up looking, I don't even know, is it this part? Jeez. It's jumping all around. So he looks in her luggage, and he looks for her passport, and we see that it's red, and we know what that means. So then stuff gets really crazy. Like an hour later, they meet up, and Chase accuses Val of rifling through Anna's things and looking at her passport. Val, understandably, is upset because we know this was what Chase was doing. And he's like, "Chase, tell her you're joking." And Chase is very serious about it. Well, obviously it creates World War III. They're supposed to be going to England together. Anna puts on this face and is like, "I'm leaving. I'm going to catch the train." So Val is very confused. And I actually felt really bad for Val here. I need to know more about this guy. And then I guess Anna and Chase just go to London. But I thought, Chase was looking for her passport, so it really doesn't make sense. All I can think is, okay, so he knows that she's lying, but he just doesn't care because he does think she's going to get all this money and he wants her to invest. So, interesting. Meanwhile, the attorney gets sent a truckload of files. Again, I don't understand why we needed this part. Okay, he's overwhelmed. I actually really like that attorney, though. Like I said before, he plays in Succession. He's fantastic. I like him in this show. Great. Okay, so this friend that worked at the hotel is going to visit Anna at Rikers. She seems to be the only one who's willing to go and visit. We show all the steps of going to get there. Again, I didn't quite understand the importance of this. I guess that she's the only one willing to see her. But then she doesn't end up going in. It's the strangest thing. So then we go to Anna talking to Vivian, and we get flashbacks. Again, hello, crazy timeline. I'm guessing when she was in France because we keep seeing Paris again. But she's shopping and she sees herself in the reflection and she's having these feelings, and it just doesn't, this is where the show bugs me. It's it's too much out of order. It's like a fever dream, right? Or like a crazy dream where parts of it make sense and then all of a sudden nothing makes sense. That's kind of how I feel about this show. I'm not saying I'm ready to ditch it. I just wish they didn't shovel all the shit on us and expect us to go through it and understand it all. Maybe they don't. Maybe they don't expect us to understand it all because, frankly, I don't. But we get to see, they seem to do this where there's a reveal in every episode. So here it's the reveal of her talking Chase into the reason why her last name wouldn't really be Delvey and why she might have been born in Russia and why she jumped over to Germany really fast and why it's not her fault, but why she's still so rich. It's, again, I believe it's to show her powers of persuasion, but it's a lot of craziness, right? And then the final scene, we see her in her prison crying. So, I don't, what? I don't hate this show. I just, it's a lot. I keep saying that, but it is. It's a lot. And I want to make sense of it, but it's like they're purposely not wanting us to make sense of it yet. And they're just throwing a lot of information at us. And I just don't love that. You know what I mean? Like, I wish it was, I don't know, 40 minutes instead of an hour plus. Like, I think this episode clocked in about an hour and 10 minutes. That's just a lot, right? It's a lot to keep track of. It's a lot of story. And I understand it's a big story, but I just don't think we needed all this at one time and call it one episode. And there's so many players involved. It's fascinating. And that's, I guess, the difference when I read the original article is based on this one woman's experience, her close friend who had to keep paying for things, but also, you know, other people that were affected, but it was mostly this one woman. So this is just completely different. And I understand they changed it up and they went different, but I'm not sure if it's good yet, you know? So let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are, because I'm still reeling a little bit if you can't tell. I appreciate you sitting with me through my musings and figuring this out and my accent. But thank you guys so much for everything. Do let me know if you're into it, if you want to keep going, what your thoughts are, how you feel about all this, because I'm a little confused. But thank you guys for everything. Have a fabulous day. Do check out Patreon if that's something you're interested in. And I do still have merch. Check it out. Midnight Toast, Justice for Steve. It's a load of pants. I got it all. Thank you guys for everything. Have a fabulous day, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.